Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Jigsaw news update video. So we got our first spanking look at this entire, epic that they're making, this awesome film and everything like that. Entertainment Weekly got an exclusive photo, which I'm going to be showing you on the screen. This is directly from them. I'm going to also be leaving a link in the description section below for you guys to go check out the article. You can read it yourself, interpret this how you will. But I'm going to basically going over the photo and what the director said in this little short interview that they posted. And yeah, before I do that, I actually want to shout out another person, Last Outlaw, over on Twitter. This guy is really awesome. A lot of you guys are really awesome. I'm not always around to see this stuff breaking, and I can't necessarily make the videos if I don't see it. So a lot of people have kind of come to, on any type of social media, been just shouting me out whenever there's new stuff like the poster or this particular shot or this, that, or the other. And I have to really thank you guys. I'm very grateful because if I had to just be working or something, I didn't see it, I couldn't think about it, I couldn't get these videos out in a timely manner for you guys. So with that being said, so this photo, we actually see Laura Vandervoort basically in some kind of a, I guess, sand trap, or maybe it's grain. I think it's sand, but we're not necessarily sure. I think she's sinking. I mean, whether or not it's quicksand or it's just kind of filling up in a someplace that we're not necessarily seeing from this photo, it's hard to tell. The one thing I think is really interesting about this shot though is that not only is she sinking, but the space right next to her has two very clear handprints in what appears to be either somebody was standing there or somebody has recently sunk into this. I'm not necessarily sure. So who knows whether or not she got, I guess, up on this, or she was up on this and she started sinking for some reason, or somebody else is in there with her who's already sunk down, or any of that other stuff. I'm not necessarily sure, but it actually is really interesting because we talked about this before, that Laura Vandervoort might be one of the more main people in the movie. We're not necessarily sure, and obviously this photo doesn't necessarily bode well for her, so we're not necessarily sure how she's going to be involved in one way or the other, but it's going to be really interesting to see. Personally, I would really like her to be the main protagonist in this film, like the person who's going through all the traps, or at least the main person in the main trap as we see all the other stuff playing out. Who knows whether that's what they're going to do. They're going to play in the one person going through many traps with multiple people, or if they're going to do something more akin to the first film where there's something kind of slower building up, like maybe she's sinking through sand this whole time as everything's kind of running out the clock, and you get to see all these other traps happening as the police are investigating, something like that. We're not necessarily sure, but as long as she is potentially the protagonist, or maybe not even her, but maybe another female. We've never really seen that in the Saw films. So I actually, besides Lynn Denlin, but I don't necessarily count that. So I think her being a protagonist, like a protagonistic force, would be pretty awesome. But just going off of that, I just want to get into what the directors were saying. So we got Peter Spierig and Michael Spierig talking to Entertainment Weekly, and basically they're saying, bodies are turning up and they're linked to Jigsaw, or maybe a Jigsaw copycat. And that kind of goes into what I've talked about before, and a lot of people have speculated, in my opinion, very wrongly, with the idea that Jigsaw is not coming back. Like, Tobin Bell's not coming back. As they say later in the interview, the DNA of Tobin Bell is all over this film. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's coming back. In fact, I would really like it to be something more akin to Spider-Man Homecoming with Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark and or Iron Man character, where you see him in bits and pieces. He's only in the movie for about 10 or 8 or so minutes, but his presence is felt throughout the entire thing. This is basically Iron Man's world and everyone else is just living in it. I've always thought that about the Saw movies as well, is like, this is Jigsaw's world and everyone else is just living in it. So I think that would be really cool to basically explore that idea, where you only get to see about 10 minutes of him, maybe even 15 if they really want to push it, but he's not necessarily in the film a lot. But everything he does and everything this world is built around is the fact that people are still scared. He's very much relevant and integral to this world that they're building. So the police are investigating, the public is scared, all the people in the traps understand what's going on, but they don't understand how it's possible. That would be really cool in my opinion. But then it basically goes on to say that they're very happy to bring so many deadly, awesome traps. They also want this film to be really fun for the audience. They want it to be scary and gory, but they also want it to be fun. And they also kind of promise that there's a great mystery, there's a great twist coming up, basically what all the Saw films do. They all have a twist ending, which I'm excited for. I feel like a lot of people who are fans of this movie series actually are really excited for, so I'm really happy about this. One of the things is, and you don't necessarily need to come to me, I'm sure there are other people online who would geek out and mark out about all of these different traps and talk about potential traps and everything that they'd like to see in the Saw movies. But, you know, for me, they're not really the best thing about the series. I like more so the story, and the traps play a really heavy role in the story. But with me, Saw was always more of a mature horror movie franchise because it had this intricate story built around multiple films with people and so much consistency between them, even though there was retcons and plot holes every now and then. I mean, what major franchise doesn't have that stuff? You know, there are a couple, but there are also so many more that do. So with that being said, guys, I just wanted to kind of leave it at that. I hope you guys like this new news and information. I hope you like what you see with this first original trap that they've actually shown. Tell me what you think about that in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell over by the subscriber button for more news and notifications and discussions on Jigsaw and movies and television and everything else I do on this channel. And with that being said, guys, I hope everyone has a good day. It's been real.